Welcome to the Coastal Kitchen. I'm Karen Mashers, and today I'm making my kind of comfort food. I'm going to have bratwurst with sauerkraut, German potato salad, nice and hot. I'm going to make some sour cream, dill, cucumbers, and of course dessert, always dessert. I'm making a Black Forest Lane cake, and I'm going to tell you my little trick to this one. Okay, let's get started, and we're going to start with the cake. Now, this is a fun thing because you can make people think you spent all day in the kitchen because it tastes that good and looks that good. But you can use a boxed cake mix, or you can use your favorite chocolate recipe. Now, I have already baked my layers, and I've made them about 3/4 of an inch each in a 9-inch pan. Takes about 18 to 20 minutes when you put it in at 350. So follow the directions for your recipe, and I'm going to set this right over here to the side. My lane filling is what we're going to work on next. So let me turn my stove on. I'm going to turn it on medium, and I've got a pretty heavy pot here because this is going to cook for about 20 minutes, maybe not quite that long. And I'm putting in 1/2 cup of butter. Just cut it up a little bit and it'll start to melt. Got that. And onto that we are going to put in our sugar. This is 1.5 cups of sugar. And I'm just going to give it just a little bit of a stir here. Get that going. And I've got 8 egg yolks. Now, we've separated these egg yolks, and I'm just going to give them a little whisk. And I'm going to keep my whisk right here with me. And this is going to go right on top. All right. Now this is going to cook. We're going to stir this constantly for about 20 minutes until it sets up and gets nice and thick, because this is the base for our Lane sauce. So let's keep that going. I just want all that butter to melt. Now I'm going to turn this down to low really quick because I don't want scrambled eggs. I just want this sauce to start thickening. Alright, looks like this is nice and thick. Let me grab this trivet, put it over here. You can see about how thick this is. Alright, time for the raisins. Just right in. And I like to stir each one individually just to get them coated. Pecans. Flaked coconut. Alright, last thing that's going in right now, maraschino cherries, and I actually cut them in about 3 pieces, just sliced them down. Okay, now it's a nice thick mixture, and you can see. Okay, now this is an option. To make it Lane, you need about 1/4 cup of bourbon. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix the bourbon with some of my cherry juice. So I have just about 1/4 cup. Pour that right in. It's going to give me a little more color. And then we're going to let this cool because we can't put it on the cake hot. So I'm going to let this sit. I'm going to clean up just a few minutes and make some homemade whipping cream. You can make that. Our recipe is on the website, or you can find us on Facebook. Just search for the Coastal Kitchen. Okay, let me get this done and we'll be back in just a minute.
Most people couldn't fit 200 local farms on their table. Well, that's where we come in. For the very best of everything local, Lowe's Foods.
Welcome back. We're going to finish our Black Forest Lane cake now, and I've made my whipping cream. I've got my first layer up, and we're just going to put a couple of good tablespoons on that. And I'm going to use my spatula to spread it out. Want to keep it about 1/4 of an inch, maybe 1/8 of an inch from the edges. And if you need more than a couple of tablespoons, that's fine. I think I'm going to put a little bit more in there, just be a little generous here. So easy. All right, now it's time for next layer. And I'm going to put this one top down right there and give it a nice press. Okay, now for our lane filling. Let's grab this little one. And I'm going to put a nice bunch on here, a little bit more. And just spread that out. Same way, keep just a little bit off of the edges. All right, next layer. If you want, you can ice the sides with your whipping cream that you have left over. It will just fill up some gaps, and I think that's what I'm going to do. Just going to take this last little bit of cream and just go over the sides. And it doesn't matter how the sides look, because it's what it tastes like now. All right, last little bit on the back here. And you can tell, I haven't been as particular as some might. I want it to have that little rustic look. Lovely. Okay, now, to finish it off, I'm going to cut some chocolate. And I'm just going to slice it so it looks like ribbons. All right, let's take some of this and start sprinkling. See how pretty that looks? All right, this last little bit of chocolate, and I'm going to put this into my refrigerator and let it sit there until ready to serve. I'll add some maraschino cherries to make it look a little bit more festive. And as soon as I get this in there, we're going to start with our brats and our hot German potato salad. All right, in the fridge, and we're ready to go. I'm going to start with our brats because they need just a little bit of time. Let's move this one over here. Okay, I have already put 5 bottles of beer, German beer, in my pan. I'm going to turn this on. That's the burner I want. I'm going to put my beer in. And this is a light German beer, so let's put that in the trash. Now I'm going to add 2 onions. I have already diced them up. Just a nice dice. Goes right in the pot with the beer. And I've got 2 cloves of garlic that have just been smashed. And you know, you don't even have to take the peeling off of them if you don't want to. All right, now comes my spices. I've got 1 tablespoon of caraway seeds, 1 tablespoon of coriander seeds, and 1 tablespoon of mustard seeds. All in, all done. Now, let me grab a spoon. And I'm just going to mix this up. And we are going to watch this close because beer can boil over. Alright, got my brats right here. These I had made from one of our local butchers, and they are fresh. They are not pre-cooked. If you use pre-cooked, just cook them for about 5 minutes, and we're just pricking the casing. I'm going to pop that right in. Just prick the casing. So if you get pre-cooked, cook them about 10 minutes. These are going to cook about, I'm going to cook them about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to let them sit in the liquid for about 30 minutes with it turned off. So let's put this lid on, and now we're going to watch it carefully, and we're going to start our potato salad after I wash my hands. Our potatoes I have already cooked. I got 5 pounds of potatoes, put them in my big pot, let them boil for about 20 minutes. I've peeled them and I have halved them. So let me give you some options. If you want to use new potatoes or red potatoes, absolutely fine. Just stick them in there, skins and all. If you want to keep the skins on, that's your option. It's the way you like it. Okay, now let me do this first. I'm going to reserve some of this potato liquid. So I'm just going to put that in my colander. Pop that right back out. And drain my potatoes. Just remember, watch the steam. Okay, let's put this over here because I'm going to need my burner on this side. Alright, got my great big skillet. And I'm going to put it right here. Let's get rid of this real fast. And I'm going to cut up some bacon. I have a pound of bacon, and it's about 12 slices, and normally I'd use about 16, but what I want to do is only use this pound because it is extra long looking to me. Alright, I'm just cutting it up. Okay, got this all cut up into just about 1-inch slices, and I'm going to get ready to put this in my pan. But before I do that, I want to turn it on, and I'm going to put a couple tablespoons of olive oil in here. And now my bacon. We're just going to let that brown. And I'm going to get my potatoes right up here on my cutting board and rinse off my hands. All right. Now, let me grab this knife over here, because I'm going to take these potatoes one at a time, and I'm going to slice them about 3/4 of an inch. Just want them nice and thick. And if something breaks apart, don't worry about it. It'll go right in to the potato salad. Okay, you know, I think it's almost time for me to turn these brats off and let them sit. Let's let them just sit now for about 30 minutes. It's going to soak up that beer. And you don't have to worry too much about the alcohol content, because when you're boiling the beer, as long as you've got it, and I'm going to do this right now Take the lid off. It will evaporate what hasn't already burned off. And most alcohol content in beer is between 4 and 6%, so we're good as far as alcohol is concerned on this. And if you don't want to do your brats in a beer base, you can do chicken stock. Tastes great. All right, I'm going to work on these potatoes real fast. All right, last potato is done. And like I said, don't worry about it crumbling because it's okay. All right, I'm going to check my bacon real fast. And it's perfect. Absolutely perfect. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take out just a nice scoopful, because I want to use this as a garnish on the top. All right, I've got enough now for my garnish. I'm going to throw in my red onions now. All chopped up, ready to go. We're going to cook these about 7 minutes, just till they're nice and tender. And in my big pot, it won't take quite that long. All right, now the bacon's done really beautifully with the onions. I'm going to let that set for just a minute, and I'm going to make our little sauce that goes in here now. Okay, I've got some sugar. I've got some chicken stock. I'm just going to stir that in. I've got some mustard. Nice spicy brown mustard, and you can use any kind of spicy mustard is good. I like to use the stone ground when I'm actually devouring those brats, but you can use stone ground. All right, now it's time for my vinegar. It seems like a lot of vinegar, but about 3/4 of a cup, and just stir in. This is apple cider vinegar, by the way. All right, now I'm going to put this right on top. It's what gives it that lovely tart flavor. Got tart and sweet. All right, now one more thing. I'm going to put just about 1/4 of a cup of the water that the potatoes cooked in. Gives it that little starchy addition, because this is going to thicken up and all of our potatoes are going to absorb. Just remember, keep that until you're finished cooking, because you might have to add just a little bit more. All right, potatoes are going to go in now, and all I'm going to do is drop this right into the liquid. All right, you can tell why I make 5 pounds, because I love it and everybody else in my family does too. Just turn them over gently, and we're going to bring this heat up just a little bit. All right, I'm going to clean up my kitchen a little bit. I'm going to let this start soaking up the liquid. We're going to finish it after we have a word from our sponsors, so see you in a few.
The Coastal Kitchen would like to say thank you to our sponsors at Holden Brothers Farm Market in Charlotte for supplying the fresh produce on this week's show. Swing by their indoor market located near mile marker 10 on Highway 17, or check them out online at holdenbrothersfarmmarket.com.
Welcome back. I'm starting to cut up some chives, and I like a lot of chives. I've got my potatoes out of my pan, on my platter, and it's time to do my garnishing. So let's get this ready to go. All right, just a nice sprinkle all the way across the top. That should do it. I can always add more for me. And I'm going to use some parsley. Just about two tablespoons. Want to dice it up. Just a nice chop. I'm going to come back and go this way. Alright, let's get a handful over the top. I'm going to put just a little sprinkle of salt, a little sprinkle of pepper, grab my bacon, I'm going to put this in my warming drawer so it stays nice and hot while I finish up our last two dishes. I'm going to come over here and show you my cucumber sour cream salad. Just cut your cucumbers thin. They don't have to be super thin. All right, got that done. Let's throw these right over here because I want to mix up my other ingredients in the bowl before I get too much done. But I'm folding my dill, my fresh dill, up into a big ball here, and I'm going to start cutting. And you don't have to worry about the stems on dill. They're just as good as those little tiny leaves. This is something you can decide how much you want, but I like the flavor of dill. All right, let me grab a spoon. All right, now I'm going to take sour cream, just about half a cup, 4 ounces in my bowl. I'm going to take some canola oil, some sugar, nice pinch of salt, some pepper, and it's time for my white wine vinegar. All right, I need a nice big tablespoon right in. Now it's time to get this all stirred up. We're just gonna keep it going till everything is really incorporated, and then we're gonna add the rest of our ingredients. All right, that looks good. Now, right on top, let's just get these cucumbers in this bowl. Whoops, the one that got away. Now, before you add your dill in, make sure that all of your cucumbers are coated. They will make a little water on their own and make this a little bit thinner, but you want to get them as coated as you can. All right, time for the dill. And I'm going to put about half that in it to start, and then I'll add a little bit more. All right, this is a nice, cool salad to complement our sauerkraut and bratwurst, and I'm going to try this. Let's put that in the fridge so it can marinate. Okay, let's get this out of the way just a little bit. We're going to finish our sauerkraut and bratwurst. All right, it's been over 30 minutes. We're going to take these out. Steamy, and they smell great. Absolutely phenomenal. Okay, now we need to reserve a little bit of this liquid here. So what I am going to do is I'm going to take and pour this right into my strainer because I don't want any of the seeds to go with it, but I want all the flavor from that broth. Okay, we're good, and you can see what came out. Now, I'm going to move these around just a touch, and I am going to take a little bit of canola oil and just brush the top, and then we're going to go to the other side. Just want a little bit because we're going to grill these on the grill. You can pan fry them if you'd like, but I like to have those grill marks. I think they look better in my opinion. Okay, got that. I'm going to turn them over. Alright, got that last one over. Let's put just a little bit more canola oil on. Good brush down. Don't want it to stick to the grill. I'm going to see if I can do this real quick. Yep. Okay, we got flame. Alright, ready here. Now, sauerkraut to go along with our bratwurst. I have my sauerkraut. I've drained the liquid from it, and I am going to take just a little bit of canola oil and put in the bottom of my pan. Not too much. Turn this on medium. Let's roll that around just a touch. I'm going to put in about a cup of this liquid. Got our great stock there. And now the sauerkraut goes in right on top. Alright, I want this to cook down and get just a touch brown. Alright, we're going to let that cook just a little bit. Let me move this over here. And I'm going to get about a tablespoon of my caraway seed. Just eyeball that, throw it in. And I'm going to put in about 1/4 of a cup of chicken broth. Alright, I'm going to get that a little browned off. Slide that right over here. And we're ready for our brats. What I'm going to do is take each one, put it on the grill, and I think I'll do 4 at a time here. We're going to let these cook for about 3 minutes on each side, get those grill marks nice and pretty. I'm going to finish up with my kraut, letting it get a little bit drier, a little bit of that liquid evaporating out. I'm going to clean up the kitchen, get ready for us to eat lunch. You be back to join us.
Most people couldn't fit 200 local farms on their table. Well, that's where we come in. For the very best of everything local, Lowe's Foods.
Wow, we have had a phenomenal day here at the Coastal Kitchen. I have got my last little bit done. I serve my sauerkraut and brats with pumpernickel bread. I just think that that hits the spot. We've got our sauerkraut that's been steeped in beer, our brats that has been steeped in beer. We've got German potato salad, wonderful chives. I made some homemade applesauce, not too hard to make. You can find us on Facebook and search for the Coastal Kitchen and get all these wonderful recipes. That cake is to die for, and I can't wait to put my knife through it. But I'm going to start by taking a little bit of this and start my celebration. We'll see you next time on the Coastal Kitchen.